All right. Great. Welcome everybody to our Eclipse Mega Movie meeting. Um, and we are hosting, we're kind of doing a little mini reboot in preparation for the upcoming eclipses. We are still working on the research papers from the 2024 and 2017 eclipses. Many of our colleagues who got Eclipse funding from NASA are just now submitting their papers as well. So it is just a fact that science takes time, a lot of time, especially when we're gathering data. But even my colleagues who had a very constrained setup for all their volunteers, they still have uh, challenges because as we were discussing at the EclipseCon meeting, everything's moving during an eclipse. The Earth is rotating and it's moving around the sun. It's orbiting and it's rotating. And the moon is orbiting Earth. And so all of that's happening. And then, so that makes it over several hours, that makes it tricky. The other thing that makes it tricky is that the sun is in solar maximum, was definitely solar maximum 2024. So very, very complicated solar corona compared with 2017, for example, where we could see things very distinctly moving away from the sun. Not so much right now with our 2024 data set that you all provided. So it's fun with the sun. So, but there's a new eclipse coming up, and some of you are traveling to the eclipse and would love to give scientists your data again. And so we would love to keep collecting the data for all the heliophysicists to use in their research. And so in our research. So we're going to make it happen. Our grant officially ended in May, from NASA, but we have 120 days to kind of finish everything up. And then we're going to be asking for some additional funds. And then we'll probably put in another proposal. So you all can be part of that if you have ideas, or we'll talk about that later, but that's not happening right away. So we would love to, so these next couple of Monday nights are really to find out who's going, to let you know we'd like the data, and also to discuss some potential improvements on last time's efforts. We believe strongly in the iterative improvement model, meaning we're always going to get better every time. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So I think, and I am Laura Pedicolis. I'm leading Eclipse Megamovie. I should have said that from the very beginning. My PhD's officially in the Aurora Borealis or Northern Lights. So that's where I know all my science. So we brought Juan Carlos Martinez Oliveras to our team. He's a heliophysicist. And then we have several other heliophysicists who have joined us, solar physicists who have joined us, like Rafael Ati, who many of you have heard from and met. And we have others too. So we have a team of folks, and then we have undergraduates learning to do physics and physics research, and they've been helping us, both computer science majors and physics majors. So that's been great. All right. So this session is about we're going to stick with the not much aurora in August. Well, there might be aurora so for those of you who are going and are in Iceland, I don't, we'll find out where you all are going to be. But if anyone's in Iceland, we are especially interested in your images because there is a tiniest of possibilities that there might be aurora borealis that's visible during the total solar eclipse. I have met with a colleague of mine at NASA, and we went through some of the brief calculations, and there is a possibility. I think it's unlikely, but it is possible. So that would be cool. As far as I know, I went and looked. We looked in the archives of as far as back as we could look, and we couldn't find any aurora and a total solar eclipse. So that would just be the coolest thing ever from my perspective. Okay, so let's find out from you all. So how many of you are yes. How many of you are going to be traveling somewhere for the total solar eclipse in August? Okay, Tom and Kathy.
We are traveling to Alcaniz in Spain.
Okay, right. You'll be
It's
in Spain.
just a little west of Barcelona.
Oh, so pretty in there.
We will be in the Snæfellsnes Peninsula in Iceland.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's why you were nodding. And I
That would
forget,
be a very cool picture indeed.
that would be amazing. And I forget, do you go by Tom or
I
Thomas?
go by Tom. I'm logged in for my work account.
Okay, great. Well, that would be exciting, Tom. Um, and then I think the exciting part for Tom and Kathy will be that for Spain, it'll be on the horizon. So there'll be lots of atmosphere to go through, but we could have some interesting colors because of that. And so I don't know, it's going to be interesting. Okay, so is anyone else going to be at the eclipse? You can put it in the chat or you could raise your hand. Or is everyone else just here to find out more? Okay.
Just here to
Okay.
be jealous of all the travelers.
I know. Okay, so we're living through you, Tom and Kathy.
We booked our hotel last August.
Yes, this makes sense. This makes sense. Okay, great. So I'm interested. So we have our same, right now we have the gold standard. We haven't modified that at all. We will be making just readability modifications. So nothing else really. But we'll take out the mount. I think what Jeffrey and I were talking about before this meeting is that we have a whole section on how to use the DIY mount that we sent. We need to take that out. And then we're hearing we're hearing about new mounts that are being developed and also ones that people have used in the past. And so I think what we're going to do instead in that section is we will just add recommended mounts. Um, and we'll put a list and we'll do pros and cons kind of thing for mounts that people can use. So you all probably, yeah, Spencer.
You want photos of mounts?
Yes, I want photos of mounts.
I will send you a photo of what I was going to use in Spain, and you can take it from there.
That would be marvelous. That would be really good. Um,
You
I know
could you could also include, in addition to listing the mounts, still some setup strategies for how to get set up to track, which some of the content with the DIY mount talked about getting set up for tracking. So that would still apply. It's just the stuff that's specific to that mount that you might want to replace.
that is a very good point. And I think like you had a really nice demonstration of how to do that with in a different way than we wrote up. So
Yeah.
we can take, I mean, I don't know. Are you okay with us adding that methodology?
Um, it's uh I don't get a citation count if you use it, but the uh the uh uh the intent is you know, developed a procedure because nothing that was out there was useful to me. And so I put it out there in case it was useful to other people.
Great.
Like,
Okay. Yeah, and
and
we can reference, wherever we can also include you all in the document where you provide us information to just remind us if we forget. So I'd like to give people credit for their
Thomas just held up my mount.
Oh, he
yeah, I
did.
was I was going to offer up that mount, but in a different color.
Oh, nice.
If someone basic black, if someone wishes to travel and their mount is a um uh, causes airlines to get baggage fees,
Uh-huh.
I think. Right, but the Skywatcher Star Adventure will not cause the airlines to charge you excess fees.
I hope not. We're
Yeah.
still looking at bags to carry tripods in,
Hmm.
because we're probably going to have two manual tripods as well as the tracking one. So
I found a bag on Amazon that fits the Star Adventure tripod. If you have the specific tripod for the Star Adventurer, which has a wide base, and so it doesn't fit in the standard tripod bag. But if you're using something else, you're in good shape. Uh, Carbon fiber, if I could afford it, would be I
yeah,
probably can now, but the carbon fiber would be the
yeah,
recommendation
that
I
would be
would
ideal.
make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been using a surveyor's mount
Hmm.
for just a because it's tall enough and
Yep.
it's heavy and sturdy enough that it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of retrofitted um, some washers and stuff on it that'll hold the base of the Star Adventurer in place.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenge for me will be leveling the telescope and getting it pointed at the right place, since it won't be in my backyard, which is considerably further south.
You the $20 is probably $30 now. Electronic level that you get from Amazon is wonderful.
Yeah, I may do that.
Uh,
That's
uh,
not a bad idea.
the
Yeah.
Go
Feel free
ahead.
to send me a link to that.
Okay.
Uh,
I've
we also have been using a leveling head. So it's you have your tripod. This may not work with the one that you've already doctored because you need the standard threads, the 3/8 inch. But it mounts onto that, and then it's got three knobs so that you can raise and lower the 3 points. And so that is way easier and faster than adjusting the legs of the tripod to get things leveled. So,
Yeah,
and
that'd be interesting. I'd like to see that. As it turns out, you can buy lots of screws that are standard mount size, and you can ask for um, a washer of quite nearly any dimension and shape. So I've got square washers and long camera mount size threads that just fit the bottom of the Star Watcher, but you could probably mount almost anything on it, as long as it had enough, wasn't too long.
Yeah, we've been working on the presentation we're going to give at next month's meeting and covering some of this stuff, but yeah, maybe that's too late for the August eclipse, and Laura, we can share stuff with you sooner than that. So
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. And we'll probably have some time. If you have some things you want to share today, that's fine too. I don't think there's any harm in repeating this type of content. So, it's all very specialized and we could hear it multiple times, I think. It's a benefit.
Tom,
Uh,
do you have an extra dovetail?
Extra tough. I'm gonna say no.
The although, so a longer dovetail that you just stick into the Star Adventurer,
You mean a counterweight? Is that what you're talking about?
no. The the thing that you screw the knob and then you lock it,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
this thing.
That thing, right? No, underneath,
Yeah,
underneath.
the green part.
So if you can take the green thing out and
Hmm.
you can mount the green thing into the the latitude adjustment piece where you set the angle,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's
right?
how it works. That's how I think that's how I.
Right.
Well, I think I
And
have mine mounted to the bottom of the Star Adventurer itself, and then
oh, okay.
it has the latitude adjustment on it,
Yeah.
because that's a
S-
second piece.
Right. So if you use a dovetail, it gives you more real estate where you can put your electronic level, and then you can get it right. You've got it mounted to your tripod,
Yeah.
right? And so just putting the electronic level into that uh, uh, Vixen dovetail receiver, it's pretty short. If you
I
stick
see.
the long dovetail section into it, it gives you a surface
To mount the level on.
to put the level on. Some levels are magnetic, but that doesn't help because everything's made out of aluminum. Don't ask me how I know that.
I wonder if that's true.
To be light and
Everything on
inexpensive.
the most of the stuff on the Star Adventurer is aluminum.
Yeah, the sadly the mounted tripod as well.
Yeah, but so you can you can get really obsessive with the digital angle gauge. If someone does the math, it turns out that with the focal length of your objective,
Hmm.
500 millimeter equivalent or 600 millimeter equivalent at most, right?
Yeah,
You
you wouldn't
can
want to get too close to the sun.
your
You can
polar
burn
alignment
yourself.
can be off,
Mm.
and it doesn't
Yeah, no,
matter,
agreed.
right?
Agreed. Yeah, this is well. That was why I was kind of like, what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is not so much the aiming as the tracking. And it's only going to be 6 minutes, although it's going to be 6 minutes.
It's going to be
So
6 minutes, so you need to be close, but you don't have to be perfect because the your longest exposure is going to be 30 seconds, maybe,
right, I just have to make
right?
sure it doesn't drift out of frame. That was what happened to me last time. My
Right.
giant everything quit right in the middle, and then when
Yeah.
I turned it back on, everything was drifting out of frame. So.
Yeah. Um, so someone has done a calculation, so you don't have to rederive from first principles, how close to polar aligned you have to be to be able to do 30 seconds and not be off, you know, to get
Yeah.
trailing, right? And it turns out you can be off. You don't have to do drift alignment.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
I'm going to look at this Klein digital level is very nice looking, and I could probably make that work. So.
Yeah, they've got all kinds of different brands. The one that I bought in 2023 is no longer made. It's one of those.
Bummer.
So, but I just went the electronic level into Amazon and
I tried that and I got less cool things than this. So clearly I just don't
really,
know how to
whoa,
type. It's
okay.
just clearly my inability to type.
Huh.
I probably
Uh,
type digital level or something,
yeah.
something like
No, it's
that.
electronic. Use electronic and
Yeah.
that's
Oh, this
that's
looks
the keyword you
beautiful.
want.
I'll look at a
Yeah,
couple of others, but I mean, it
right.
would be nothing to like you said, to
And
put
it
a
does have a magnetic bottom,
extension.
so
Yeah.
you could actually get some tin snips, get a piece of
Yep. It'd be nothing to just add a little extra length to the thing if I needed to. Yep.
exactly.
Just as long as it's not flexible.
Right, right.
Coolio.
Um, uh,
Yeah, good suggestion. That'll be fun.
yeah.
The other ones, my wife is just going to stand there screwing the little thingies anyway. So
Mhm.
To keep it in.
yeah, she takes a lot of moon photos.
Mm.
And so we have what is it? I forget who it is. It's a Celestron. I guess it's an alt-az mount, but it's not really a mount, it's a tripod. And so you point the rotation where you want it, and then it's got micro adjustment knobs for alt and az, so you can just follow the moon around, or sun in this case.
Nice.
Uh,
So it
Tom,
won't be as hands off as the
Ooh, I see
self-tracking.
Tom and Kathy changed their icon.
yes.
They are Zoom gods.
Tom just updated our profile icon.
Oh my
This
God.
That's exactly
this
it.
was the way that we had to get the photo there in a hurry. We couldn't put it in the chat. Um, the base of that, the little red knobs are part of that leveling base that we were talking about. So it's
Hmm.
a kind of triangle shape. And then you'll notice the Skywatcher base. And then the orange thing is a Klein
It's the exact same
tilt
one, as it
meter.
turns out.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Klein is not a generic vendor. It's one of the better
Yeah,
vendors
Klein
out
tools are
there.
great. Yeah.
Right.
But
What
it was only like $25. So
yeah,
and yeah,
32.97 overnight right now.
I see.
Um how you have that mounted on the clamp there. How is that working to level it for you?
Great. And it's not clamped in, it's magnetic. And the Skywatcher is a ferrous
I thought it
metal.
was aluminum. Huh.
That part
Mine's
of the
aluminum.
Skywatcher,
Fooled me.
that is sitting there with the magnet.
Yeah, mine's
Wow.
aluminum. Yeah. I'm touching a magnet to it and it's just sliding off. So I'm gonna say
Oh, huh, interesting.
mine is maybe I got the cheaper, newer one or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
we've had ours for quite some time. So
yeah.
we had
Yeah.
I could grab it in the thing. That is a possibility too. But how is it getting you horizontal level when it's at that wicked angle?
oh,
Close to 90 degrees.
we level it before we put the Skywatcher on. So I take the leveling base flat. And then we actually you can get on Amazon just inexpensive little bubble levels.
Hmm.
And so you can get a pack of five of them. The
And put them
thing
all around it.
the thing to know is that they're not very accurate and they vary based on which side is down. So you take the five of them and you flip each of them onto their four sides, and you look at all five of them and you find the best side of the best three, and that will give you three good things. And then I just stick them on that leveling base in between each one on one of the axes that gets changed. And it takes me like 30 seconds to get the thing leveled. It is just amazing. And I've got a photo of
So the
that,
bubble
but
levels are really what you use more than the Klein.
to get it yeah, the Klein is showing setting for our latitude.
You want to get the green ring at the bottom level to local gravity,
Yep.
Right, right.
right?
And that's what
And
we do.
And we've found those to be inaccurate sometimes.
right.
Right.
And so I think what you're talking about is I'm going to drop another Amazon link in the chat.
Love the links.
Okay. You can get those at Harbor Freight. You can get a torpedo level and do it x-axis, y-axis, and that's close enough, right? Um, uh, but these little guys, as Tom and Kathy, as Kathy said, it's good enough. Put it on a table. It doesn't matter if the table is flat. Rotate that all the way around and see if the bubble stays in the same spot.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
Right?
I read that when I was testing that.
That's how
Yeah.
I check my Harbor Freight torpedo levels is
Yeah.
is I put them on my countertop and then I just flip it. And if the bubble
If it looks the
moves,
same after you flip it.
if it looks the same off center in the opposite direction, then I have an issue, right? It's
Yeah.
supposed to be um uh,
Yeah, it's got to
if
be.
one side's up and you flip it, and you do have to make sure that you put it back in exactly the same spot because your counter is not flat. It may be level, but it is not flat. And if you don't put the torpedo level back on the exact same spot, you will think that you have a bum torpedo level. And the calibrating the Klein electronic or all the electronic levels is the same process. You don't need a level surface. You just need a flat, stable surface. And um, I put tape to tell me where I put it down, and then I'll rotate it, and it's supposed to be reading the negative of what it was before
Right.
I flipped it over.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I have little levels like these. I've never tried to use them
Yeah,
rather
just
than
stick it on top
like,
of your tripod and then level the tripod before you screw in the Star Adventure latitude adjuster.
yeah, yeah. I'm always of desperate fear that I'll of course move everything as I'm screwing that in because you got to tighten it down pretty good. But
If you've got the surveyor's tripod, you just dig the feet into the ground and that's
yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
that's what.
And yeah.
Well, yes, in Iceland it's frequently lava rock, but we'll see what we get. So we're gonna be all over the place. Maybe we'll be on the beach and it'll be sand, but yeah, we should be able to do something to get it fairly stable. Um, but anyway, 3 cameras, best of luck, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and just I think everyone's been through this already with us in 2024, but I'm not 100% positive. So I just put in, if we do have any new people here, in the chat, the photography guide as it is
Mhm.
as of today, the video trainings from 2024, and then
Is this
yeah,
unchanged?
yeah, oh, that hasn't been changed.
That's beautiful. That's bringing back weird memories for me, especially the custom mount that came, and mine exploded in interesting different ways. I think everyone's certain gears were stripped and certain mechanisms were changed, and so you were fudging it to get it to work, but it worked. I mean, it did its job pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we're gonna replace that. So our next meeting in July, we're gonna talk about kind of all other DIY mounts that people are
Mhm.
developing or have created, and that might be more successful for the future. So that will be next month's discussion. So for right now, it's just the same as what it was for 2024, but we're going to remove that section and keep the alignment section plus adds some of the other tips and tricks, and then we'll also put in um, a list of mounts like this one that you all are using. And then
Add
if
trace
people,
into your packing list, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping, and that I'll just transport everything in their original box, and then that'll fit at the end of whatever duffel bag that the rest of the tripods go in. But
Yeah.
we're calculating dimensions and weights.
Hmm.
Because the only time we really got yelled at, other than in Germany, when we were traveling for stuff was Iceland. So, so, so I'm always a little worried that they're going to be sticky about things, and no one wants to pay $600 to fly their telescope anyway.
That was my mistake. Except it was only $400, but it was one way
Yeah, oh, no,
what
that can
what
be.
wait, what are you all saying? You have to pay what?
to transfer that equipment from one place to the other in the airline. You know, I carried a GM8 with the
Or
field
a
tripod.
Losmandy? Oh dear God, that's
Yeah,
huge.
lost money. It worked
Yeah.
beautifully. It
It
cost
should have
$400
after it
one
costs
way
that
to
much to get
transfer it
there.
from Charlotte to Ennis, Texas, or Dallas, rather.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's our worry is cost and all that. But we'll get it there. We'll get there even if I have to, put it in my shorts or something. So
You know that box for the Skywatcher will fit in a small Pelican case, and it
yeah,
still has room for 2 cameras and a tripod.
yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, a small Pelican case will set you back about the same as your travel expense was. But I'll have a look at it. Our tripods are don't collapse down very small. They're 30 some inches long. And so that's always going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we'll figure it out. We got what? Days and days. So
I'm going to run out to my garage and grab that thing and show y'all.
that'll be
Hang on.
cool. Yeah, yeah, we'll wait here.
Yeah, and actually, while Spencer's,
Your camera should
well,
be one of your carry-ons. Your
Yeah,
camera and the
I'm not
telephoto
checking
lens
my camera
will be
anywhere.
will be one of the carry-ons. Um, uh, you may be able to get a large backpack where you can fit both the camera and the guts of the Star Adventurer.
Yeah, we got
I
a we got a particularly cool hardback, hard-sided um camera bag for. So my wife has like all the several different cameras that she collects and the new one that I'm supposed to get before we leave. But you don't have to take too many lenses, but she's going to want to take,
mhm.
because that's not the only thing she's going to want to take pictures of course.
Yeah,
And so we'll see, but we're taking our son with us and we'll just make him Sherpa a bunch of it too.
waterfalls. All the waterfalls in Iceland.
Oh yeah, no, it's beautiful. We've been there
There's more
before.
waterfalls. You've been there before.
Yeah,
Okay,
we were
yeah,
there. It was winter, so we just did the bottom because you can't
yeah,
do the top or anything.
yeah.
And it was crazy. I mean, we went in an ice cave and all that kind of stuff, and it was just nuts. It's phenomenal there. I mean, there may still be a flowing lava someplace on it, as far as I remember correctly.
I'm going to pause this conversation really quick because we actually have a new person who is part of this email chain now and has emailed me about an astro imaging system that they had co-founded. Hey, Fai Chen. Let me know if I'm saying your name right. Fai Chen?
It's Fei Chen. Yeah.
Fei Chen. Okay, so I was going to give Fei Chen
Oh
just
yeah, yeah, that thing's cool.
10 minutes to just explain what he has. Oh, excellent. Okay, excellent, excellent. And since I hope Spencer doesn't mind missing this, Laura, is this being recorded? So at least this
It
can
It
be
is.
saved.
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
brilliant.
yeah,
So
in
Yeah.
yeah,
fact,
let's
Spencer helped me remember.
go on. Thank you, Spencer. Team effort.
Yeah. Feel free to record anything like everything I'm presenting
Yeah.
here will be public. So
Oh,
it's
perfect. So
and
I think now's a good time. Let's actually have you present now instead of waiting for the end. And then when Spencer gets back, we can keep chatting more about equipment and
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
backpacks.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for your introduction. And my name is Fei Chen, and I'm the co-founder of Arc Blue Imaging. So this is actually my hobby project for so many years, and it matured to a point that we decide to start this. I decided to start this as a company, and then I'm selling this as a new product for astro imaging. So essentially, it completely revolutionized from like the HDR imaging all the way to what we call like a deep sky astrophotography. But before, going into the slides, I only have like 5 slides. I'm trying to keep this short. I actually want to show you the footage I took with one of the prototype cameras. So this is the camera that we are going to release to the public very soon. And then as you can see, it's very compact.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
cool.
as big as it's smaller than DSLR. It's about the size of a mirrorless camera, but it has computer building and all the processing stuff. And then let me try and see if I can broadcast. Let me see if this. I saw Zoom could do
At the
video.
bottom, share uh,
Uh,
the your control. There's a share button.
okay, I saw that one.
Yeah.
And then let me see if I can broadcast one of the video. Share. And then let me see. Should be in one of these here. Video, Eclipse, and see if that works. Oh,
It started out, but then you hit something and it quit sharing.
yeah, it looks like it says the format is unsupported. So let me try like just a share from a screencast. That might be easier.
Okay.
So yeah, that might be easier. Just share the screencast. And can you see this one? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the video, and I'm just going to play without music.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the partial eclipse part of the
Right.
2024. So I was in Poplar Bluff. What's that? I think I was next to Mississippi. It's Arkansas, right? I was in Arkansas or
Yep.
Mm.
maybe I was in Missouri. Yeah.
Well, it depends on which side of the river you were on, but no, you
Yes.
were either way. You were on the west side of the river, so all good.
Yes, I'm on the west side of the river. So you see, this is the full eclipse from the start all the way to the end. And it's
And this is
taken,
the post-processed, right? That the camera does itself.
yeah, now the camera can do this for itself. So I'm gonna pause right here. So each of these frame here is taken automatically by the camera. And it used to be we do post-processing with a program I wrote offline. So I pull the data out. The camera themselves has a SSD inside, so it's really fast. So you can think of like each of this frame group, 5 frame, will be roughly around 400 to 500 megabytes in total. And then because of the SSD inside, each group only spend around 1 second, and the SSD is able to capture all those data in. And then for a duration of a 4 minutes, 20 seconds solar eclipse, it roughly took around 220 sets. So in total, it's roughly 120 gigabytes worth of data. And then you can see this is actually a movie where a time lapse showing the gradual movements of the moon. But the exposure is able to capture all the way from the shadow, like we'll call the earth shine, all the
Mm-hmm.
way to the inner corona, the prominences, without overexposing anything. And this is just my setup and the environment I was in, captured with something like a GoPro camera. A small tripod. I'm doing this for the panoramic shot, and then a big mount with the telescope, and then my prototype camera over there. And I have a secondary counterweight camera trying to capture a wider shot. But basically, this is the setup. And then you can see the Earth's, the moon's shadow like driving across the area. You see the moon shadow just going
Right.
across. Yeah, so that's the video and the outcome. And let me share my as I talk through, let me share my actual slides. I only get 5 slides or 6 slides of these, so it's very quick. And can you see my screen?
Yes.
So, we call the system C42 to name after one of the observatory we own in China. So we have our one of those two. I think it's a half-meter telescope, and that telescope has discovered supernova and also asteroid before. And the last digit or something on the International Astronomy Observatory something is like 42. So we just call it the C42 as our product launch. So this camera is like really compact and it's a full frame sensor. And then it's based on a Sony device. And then, so instead of a camera like the ZWO or QHY, where you have to have a computer driving it, what I designed was a computer inside, and then also it's a FPGA, so field programmable gate array. So it's a system on chip, so it has a processor and also has FPGA doing all the processing and all the heavy lifting, like accelerating digital signal processing for the camera sensors doing its readout. So it's a very compact device. There's only one single board that we design, and then the whole system also has cooling function. So the sensor is cooled to minus 30 degrees Celsius maximum against the ambient temperature. So this is the system we have. So I also have a full kit right here. It's very compact. You can fit this whole thing, like disassemble, reassemble in like 2 minutes. It fits nicely into a backpack, like just a regular photography backpack, including the camera lenses, battery, and also the tripod, mini tripod. And it's really lightweight, about like the full system is like a 3 kilogram to 4 kilogram something, about like a 7 pounds. And you also have a detachable magnetic screen, so you can just turn it on, and then it will show you a star map, and then you can just select any object. So once this is a sync overnight, you can just hit anywhere and then do a go to. So the system will smooth. Yeah.
If you stop sharing the slides, we will be able to see you better. Right now, we see the slide very large and you are in a little thumbnail window.
Cool. Let me stop sharing right now. So
Great, thank you. Now we can see what you're showing us much better. Thank you.
So this is the full device. It's very lightweight. I can hold it easily with one hand. So it has a mini mount. So this is one axis. That's the second axis.
Okay.
And then the camera has a third axis. So the full system.
So you can rotate the frame in addition to the declination and the RA, whatever RA, right ascension.
So this is the RA axis.
Yeah.
That's the declination axis, and this is the composure for like composing the frame.
Yeah.
And then with the smaller wedge has adjustment for polar alignment. And the polar alignment is electronic assisted, so you don't have to like look through polar scope. We actually just take a few shots
You've got you're doing software assisted polar alignment. Yeah.
Yes, precisely. So this
is what's the communication to the little device? Is it Bluetooth? Is it Wi-Fi?
Yeah, it has both Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. So this screen has Wi-Fi inside, and then it connects to a Wi-Fi host in the camera. And the camera also can function as a Wi-Fi device simultaneously. Say if you have a router at your home, you can set up, and then the camera can connect to your home router as well.
So you can literally put the camera in one place and the display in a completely other, so long as you have direct connectivity.
Yes, and we can also do this remotely. For example, this is happening in, say, a remote observatory in China. We can also connect that across the globe through Ethernet. It has Ethernet connection as well. So
the polar alignment in the daytime, if it's software assisted, is maybe a bit of an issue, right?
Yeah,
because you're not going to be able to do the computed star field in the daytime.
Yeah, not at this moment, but we're going to create something. For example, from an algorithm standpoint, that's all possible. As long as you have a filter and then you look at the sun, software will be able to track the sun as it track across, and then it's able to
then adjust to get the
Yeah. So that would be something not right now, but the full system is over the air upgradable, like your Tesla.
Right, because
So
you're using an
Like your
FPGA,
Tesla.
so you can, yeah,
yeah, so I'm going to go back to my slides, and
sure.
then so this is the first one. Then the next
Hmm.
one, that's where we begin. So this is the like I said, this is the image, one of the shot from my from the camera I'm taking. So because everything is electronic shutter and it's precisely time controlled plus tracking, so we will be able to generate something so precisely aligned and the exposure authentically fused due to the way we build everything inside. So the FPGA right now, with the latest firmware, we can actually take one completely fused linear Adobe DNG format. That's a format using not unsigned integer, but instead using flow point. So we have a flow point representation from 1 second exposure fused all the way linearly to the maximum exposure, about like a 10,000th of a second. And that span the dynamic range up to 31 stops. So 32 to the power of 31. That's the maximum we can support at this moment. That almost
What
in
is what are the pixel sizes in bits for yours?
the pixel is a flow point 16-bit.
16. So that's
Yeah.
part why you can do that. Yeah, that's
Yes, exactly.
impressive.
So we try to balance the file size versus the precision. And we figure out like a FP16 handles images really nicely. So it gives you about 11 bits of mantissa precision, plus like 31 bits in terms of exponent. So that gives you a huge dynamic range without sacrificing the precision on your, neighboring pixels. And then this whole thing is done inside the camera. That means during the sensor readout, we actually supply dark, flat, and bias frames. And it's doing so fast in the FPGA, so you won't feel this. And then within like less than 200 milliseconds, everything gets fused into a single shot. So the exposure time that limits the shot is the burst period. So we can take something like one sets of these within like a 2 seconds. And the maximum we actually took was like less than 1.1 second. That's how I took like 220 sets. So this is just a demonstration. And now like all the functionality already, the combining process is already in the firmware. And then I'm going to show you the next one. So this is basically a very brief history where this began. In 2015, it's my hobby, so I really love astrophotography, and I cannot afford cameras back then, and I get tired about those cameras without the ability to split out scientific data. So I was part of the Nikon hacker community. And back then, I essentially, changed the firmware, trying to figure out how the binary code works. And then there's a functionality I was able to find in one of those generation. I disabled its ISP processing, so I can extract the full raw data from the camera sensor. And then, back then, when Nikon is still using that processor for 3 generation, I made a patch where a lot of amateur astronomers, they use Nikon, they switch from like a Canon sensor to Nikon because Nikon uses Sony sensors where they provide much better dynamic range. So that's how it begins. But later on, I decided that, hacking camera is too laborious and then it's non-sustainable. So I decided to just figure out how the sensor works. And this is where my journey begins with the camera development. And the image I'm showing here is the first camera I made with a Xilinx Zinc Delve kit. It's an FPGA inside. It's the same SoC we're using. And then the sensor attached to it is able to grab images. And then in 2017, I took this camera to the field where it matured to a point where, I spent a year and a half making all the firmware from like the host, the processor firmware, all the way into the FPGA code, including all the PCB stuff. So this is the prototype camera. It's a very, garage type, startup. So I made this, and then it's controlled through the Ethernet, and then power supply through this USB. And then my computer is actually sending command capture. So 2017 was the first debut. And then, of course, I have like several DSLR out there for backup. And then, DSLR can only capture like a 5 sets to maybe 20, 30 sets at most. And because of the mechanical shutter, it's really hard to align those images together. But this camera right here, because it's using electronic shutter, it was able to capture it nicely. But I did make a mistake back then because I have between two of us, we have like 7 camera need to manage. And this camera, I forgot to take away this filter during the totality. So I wasn't able to generate meaningful data because the 1 second exposure is almost equivalent to a 10 thousandths of a
One
second.
10,000th, yeah.
Exactly. So it was pity, but I do see like other, prominences, the
Hmm.
chromosphere from that 1 second exposure, but I won't able to get any HDR from that camera. But the firmware works perfectly. But that's a lesson learned. So the next time, I just start putting all these together, and over my hobby time for the 10 years, everything sits together, and then, I have this full system. So we decide to build a mount as well. And like this one I showed you, this is the mount, and this is just a mechanical skeleton showing here.
Hmm.
So the camera themselves, like I said, it has SSD storage. And then it's also unlike most of these commercial cameras out there. For example, ZW or QHY, they might put like a SSD. Well, maybe in the future, but right now they still don't have that such device. What they have is that they just put that Raspberry Pi uh, into a readout circuit together, and it's still going through internally through that small USB 3.0 cable. They just
Yeah.
put the cable from external into a PCB trace. So they are still limited by bandwidth, roughly like 300 megabytes a second. But because I'm using a Zinc and FPGA and I designed the system myself, I can take something like a 2 gigabyte bandwidth internally, or 1 gigapixel per second processing. So, and plus all the wireless and the storage, it's able to match the SSD speed with the camera sensor readout. And right now, like with the Fusion stuff, I'm just demonstrating that you no longer need that much bandwidth, even though we have this capability. We're just leveraging the SSD as a big storage device. And then here's an example, like we debuted this device during the NAB show in Las Vegas. And then I took some images on there's one of those dentist view lookout, and I think across the Stas Valley. And then, this image is single shot fusion from the camera, all the way from like just the sunset to the dark mountains. And you still get like a perfect signal to noise ratio everywhere while keeping the linearity. And then for the deep sky, here are 3 images from this camera as well. We took it recently, like this one is like from 2024, July 4th, I guess, right after solar eclipse. I'm just testing camera out here in the Sierra. And then this one is in Texas last year during the winter Christmas trip. Big Bend National Park, also one of the darkest places in United States. This one, I think it's taken somewhere west of China, also really dark location. It's only like a 1.5 hour exposure with a very advanced lens, like a 135 millimeter, I guess, f1.8, only like 80 minutes exposure. It's able to show these really nice dark nebulars. Yeah. And then right now we're just making all the processing internal, making it really smart. One of the nice feature we had also is the guiding. So like taking long shots, you need a guided scope, right? We completely eliminate that by a patented technology where we can guide and then take long exposure on the same physical imaging sensor. It's a really nice feature we have. So you can use like really short flange distance lenses. Like the most of those mirrorless lenses may only get like a less than 20 millimeter behind. There's no way you can stick a secondary sensor to take, a guide star. So this is a nice feature we had. So a full compact system able to encompass all the scenarios for astronomy, astrophotography, landscape, things like that. So this is what I have. And so recently we're launching this in Kickstarter. And as the co-founder, actually like we're willing to send out some test units out there. And if people is willing to use this device, we can rent out for free. And I know like there's a Eclipse happening in Spain. I think maybe just 1 month, a little bit more than 1 month. And I have just my email and my website here. So in case anyone, feel free to spread out. So it's a very novel system that should completely revolutionize all the astrophotography. So that's it. I'm the co-founder. My name's Fei Chen. Really nice. I will thank you guys for like giving me this time and my presentation stage right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Facian. I love it. Very nice. I think you solved many problems that we've been discussing, actually. Do you know yet? I assume since you're at the very beginning, you don't have a price point because you're probably trying to raise funds to kind of mass produce it, and then it'll all depend on people purchasing it and all of that. But um, do you have a sense of where you want to have that price point eventually?
So right now the really early bird price for the full system. I mean, the full system includes like everything here, like except the lens, including the tripod. There's a small battery. We designed the battery to be the counterweight, so you can just put the
Ah, ha,
battery.
ha, ha. Yes.
So really
Clever.
nice. And the full system early birds, we charge 3,500. And then as we launch a Kickstarter, I guess it will be roughly around the 39.99 something. And then, the full price in the end. We haven't decided the full price, after the Kickstarter finish. We already got like 60 people putting deposit. They really want this device already. And then we could also sell like the camera and the mount separately. But I don't have the numbers for like the separate price point at this moment. But this is
For
basically.
for for the lens interface, right?
Mhm.
Some of us have made investments in telescopes and in either the Canon ecosystem or the Sony ecosystem or things like that. Um, uh, uh, is it uh, would you have like mechanical adapters to attach a Canon lens or a standard a T mount with one of the telescope makers with a lightweight optical tube? Because obviously, if you're well, if you have a mount and a scope, this could actually replace your whatever camera you're putting on, but uh, some of the smaller optical tubes are fairly lightweight and they've got pretty good optics and um, uh, um, much larger aperture than your uh, camera optics, right? Your 400 millimeter focal length telescope uh, is going to be have a larger aperture than your Canon or Sony or Nikon lens.
Really good question. And actually, we designed this full system to
Uh-huh.
be adapt to everything. So
Okay.
the flange on our camera is only 8.5 millimeter, so it can just adapt to anything out there.
Okay.
And our initial release is not just mechanical mount. Let me just
Mhm.
put this a bit closer. You can see
Oh,
this is
you've got Go contacts. Right. Okay. So it'll
this
be able to talk to
exactly,
the
exactly.
lens depending on yeah.
So basically, say I have a Sony lens right here.
Mm,
You just attach, it's able to do auto star-based autofocus. We already got those algorithms figured out.
right.
So once you turn this on, you can hear a click from the lens. So the lens will
Hmm.
initialize, and then you can just change aperture either externally or internally
Right.
through commands. We have
Through
advanced,
the software. Right.
yes.
Yeah.
So this is in respect of a lens.
Hmm.
And in terms of telescopes, our mount is a standard compatible dovetail for most of those
Okay,
astrographs.
that's a Vixen style. Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we have electronic contact here for
Huh.
the angle rotator. So where this fits in for the
Ah, okay.
so this will talk to the through so
Rotator. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you will send command and rotate this one.
Uh,
Yeah.
It's very simple. There's not many wires dangling around. You don't have to,
Hmm.
you just have to connect two USB-C cable. That's it.
Yeah.
One from the camera to the master control on the
Hmm.
mount. There's a type C here. Sorry, let me put this down. There are two type C.
Right.
So this wedge right here, you can think of this wedge is essentially a USB hub to the camera. So
Mm.
there's one that supplies the power, and the other one does the communication and also charges through the camera. So
Yeah.
just two USB cable, that's it. No other dangling
Hmm.
wires out in the field. And the camera, like I said, because the mount is electronic,
Hmm.
we could do autofocus for Sony, and then there's autofocusing adapters from the E-mount to a Nikon or E-mount to a Canon EF. We already test, we have a 400 millimeter f2.8 from Canon, and we
Mm.
recently tested it focus okay. So
Okay.
everything is electronic. You can
Okay.
set this up in a remote observatory, or like say you're on a camping trip, you put this
Hmm.
outside, you're going to your camper or going to your tent with
Right.
your magnetic screen and touch everything wirelessly.
Yeah.
Then what's the other question you had? Oh, for like a small astrographs, right? So you
Yeah.
can attach astrograph here without the CAA, and then the only thing you lose is the composition ability. We're going
Okay.
to release an adapter for electronic focusing, focal
Hmm.
plane adjustment, and then angle adapter for telescope as well in the near future. So with that, you will just attach to the mount interface electronically,
Right.
and control signal will go through. And we're also releasing a Nikon Z mount because the Z mount is
Hmm.
much bigger and shorter. It's able to adapt
Hmm.
to telescope much nicer. So all this is like coming along fairly soon, probably like end of this year. We're going to release it as like a
Mm.
side optional devices where user can choose from. Yeah, so everything is smart and very adaptable to anything almost.
so it's an EFS mount.
This one is a Sony E mount right now.
But
Well,
he said that he was testing it on an EF,
yeah,
right?
we
Which is a full frame lens.
Yes.
yeah.
Um, uh, uh, I'm invested in the EFS APS-C system right now, but uh,
We have a building crop functionality. If you
yeah,
Ah,
want
of course
to
you
use
do.
the partial one, our FPGA will increase the frame rate and then just do a
exactly. Yeah,
I guess it's an overkill, right?
yeah.
Yeah. But everything is adaptable on the system. Yeah.
So this
So we
really came out of all of your eclipse work, it sounds like your passion for eclipse photography.
Yes, I have a huge interest in eclipse photography, and actually in December 2022, I drove all the way from California to Arizona, I think, next to the Colorado River, just to escape that year has so much snow on Sierra, so the snow came early, and then it happened to blank out the eclipse. So I drove all the way down there to set up my telescope doing the HDR photography on that eclipse as well. Even the lunar eclipse, yeah. And
Mhm.
then a lot of deep space as well. Yeah. So yeah,
Great.
HDR was one of the pinnacles. So not just from a single frame perspective, but also like from many frame. Without combining all these, it become a huge technical burden, right? You got so much data, and then most camera out there, they won't able to capture this efficiently. Even the mirrorless, I study those cameras, they have like mechanical shutters. They are not like a fully pipeline. But my camera, we design it to be pipeline. That means like doing one of the last frames readout, we actually start exposing the next one. So it makes the group interval really short and efficient. And at the same time, we do pipeline for the SSD write. So that's how like we'll be able to capture so much data in such a short period of time. Yeah. And then we also build the system for like HDR nature time lapses. A lot of people, they want to do like a sunrise or Milky Way
Sure.
rising, holy grail, right? So that's the pinnacle of a time lapse. You want to do it from a full-blown sunset and the Milky Way coming out. I was struggling with those on a normal camera. That's why like I decided we really should design a system that's able to just capture the light, and then you enjoy the art part
Hmm.
afterwards. Also, the luminance should be as accurate and scientific as possible. That's why like I includes the calibration process in the field inside the camera. It's able to do that while the sensor is read out. So you keep the data sets minimal and accurate as possible. Yeah.
Do you have
So
to
you
feed
you
it in if you use a different lens, then does it do the
you'd
flat?
have to do flats. You'd still have to do flats, right?
Yeah.
But
It's too flat.
that's a function that you already have
Exactly.
in your
And
software. Is
we have a very fast master frame capture algorithm. We're putting this functionality into the next firmware release into the screen. You just have to, there's a guidance here. You just click
Mhm.
on process, say, I want to take a flat for this telescope, right? And all you have
Right.
to do is just say, you put an artificial flat over here, and then you click on the screen, and it will just set all the ISO gain and figure out, do maybe something like 64 frame, and it will combine that automatically for you. And you end up with just a one single master flat
Mhm.
built inside. The process will take roughly just 1 minute or so. So it's really fast. You don't have to like get all the data into a computer and do it all yourself. It's done automatically here. And then once you're done with that, you can just start taking pictures. That's why like we shrink all the way down to like a 1 minute. If you can do it in 1 minute, you can just change the lens, do it in the field. All you need is just a artificial type of flat field device. Yeah. Quick and simple. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, by the way, we're launching another mounted. So this is a smaller one. We have a bigger one. It's able to handle. This one can handle like a 3 kilogram, about 6 pounds. It's designed mostly for compact lenses up to
Mhm.
like a 200 and 300 millimeter can also do on this one. But 400 millimeter, you really need a heavy balancing on the other
Yeah.
side to counter it. But for smaller telescope, like astrograph should be okay. Bigger telescope, like 100 millimeter or like a Cassegrain type, there's a bigger one coming through, and then that can handle roughly 6 kilogram or a little bit even upwards. Yeah. And also the camera building system can support existing infrastructure, like if you have a Skywatcher mount, the software is in there. You can just attach the USB or Wi-Fi,
Right.
Bluetooth. It will also be compatible if you're just getting the camera. Yeah. Mainly today, I just want to talk about like HDR functionality on this one, but I think I talked too much.
Oh, beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, so people should just email you if they're, I mean, I think we've got 2 people going to the Eclipse.
I already sent the email.
Okay. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I think one of my marketing team people may be online, but they
He hasn't
just
responded yet.
yeah they will like, contact you. Like we got a lot of cameras out there, and we can send some units if you're going to Spain. Yeah,
I,
definitely. Okay.
Tom is going to Iceland. He's going to attempt to capture the aurora at the same time as totality,
I know
Wow.
this
which is
camera is the
I
theoretically
perfect
imagine your
one
camera
to do
will
it.
do this automatically, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this will do automatically. Yeah,
I do feel like it's cheating.
Well, I mean, basically, what he did is like say, I mean, what's so brilliant about like just starting all over is like it really does bypass all the problems. You just started over and you were like, I need this camera to do this thing. And like, yeah, all the things we talk about for hours and hours. It is kind of cheating. But I mean, it's not cheating, it's solving the problem.
it's just solving the
But if
problem.
it's sufficiently advanced, technology always appears to be magic.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming and talking to us about it. And it's you had said in the email to Darlene that you've been part of Eclipse Megamovie for a while too, so that was kind of
Yeah,
fun.
I've been hiding there like since 20. I think I joined the group in 2017 and maybe like once or twice, like intermittently.
hmm
But most of my spare time gets occupied and drawn
Yeah.
into development to trying to come up with such a, much better solution compared to anything else on the market out there.
If
And
if
we
if
still
this is
like
your hobby, what is your real job?
my real job so by the way, I'm in Bay Area as well. Like I'm in Hayward, California.
Sure.
My day job before was like autonomous driving, and I work on LiDARs, sensors. But again, like uh I actually start as my hobby first, and then my hobby gets me to this career, and now I want to devote a full time into my own brand right now. So it's
Awesome.
a circle. It's more like a circle. So I'm coming back to, maybe not square one, but like maybe one level up at this moment. Yeah.
It's so awesome. Yeah, it's always wonderful when we can combine our career technology knowledge with our passions. And actually, I think a lot of you are, that's why you love eclipse photography because it's taking your passions and combining it with some other knowledge you have. Um, so I love that so much. Yeah, I feel like this is kind of the next probably, with these kind of good ideas, then other people then will copy you and then it'll all happen. But that will be down the road. Once you're well established. Um, because great ideas get duplicated eventually.
It's really hard to duplicate because what we have is like a custom designed processing pipeline.
Oh yeah,
We're
yeah.
way ahead of, and then some of our stuff we already, we know like there are people copying it, so that's why like we put the patents out there, making sure like our technology and the IP is protected.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really great advice out there. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I know when Juan and I were thinking of like how we wanted to do Eclipse Mega Movie for 2024, we actually asked Google if they would give us their HDR algorithm. And so that because we were going to do a chip that did the HDR, we were going to hand out chips that did basically what you built, but we were going to do like just a section of that piece, just some of the software. And they were like, no,
No,
you
yeah, I
can't
imagine that was
have
a
that.
hard no right from the
That was a
beginning.
big hard no. They were like, yeah, we'll dream on. So anyways, it's nice
Yeah.
that
Academics always willing to ask. I love that.
you never, sometimes we get a yes. They did fund us to do the Eclipse tour, so they did say yes on that one.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of feel a little naked after that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
So, does Thomas still want to see my case?
Yes. Show it to me, man.
You still have
Okay.
to get these things places, so they're
Oh,
very
let me
flexible.
try to do this. If I can get my camera out of here.
You're gonna have to stop your virtual background because if it doesn't see a
Yes.
person, yes.
Yeah, that's
And for some reason, Spencer, you became very loud.
Yeah, it's his head.
that's because I'm holding the camera.
What does that mean?
Yes, we can't see anything but your background.
He's turning it off now.
Or trying to anyway.
Where is where is the backgrounds?
It's
I want
the video button, up arrow on the
Yeah.
video, and then yeah.
Oh, I'm in there. I just can't see where the turn the background off.
Up arrow on the video button next to the microphone.
Well, I'm already into that. I'm just looking for
video and
appear-
effect settings.
You can wait on me.
let's see, where is that? Nope,
So
that's
you
not
hit
it.
the up arrow button,
Appearance.
and then you click the video and effect
Yeah,
settings.
video and effects, and then it's the third one to the right, virtual backgrounds. And you choose
Yeah. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. This case is
It's a real
Pel-
Pelican, not a clone. Okay.
it's a Pelican 2720.
Okay.
Okay.
And in it, I have the little, you see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
And also there's my tripod. It's a carbon fiber tripod. It fits in the case.
Okay.
And
Oh, and you've got room over in the upper right corner to put a camera in there.
that's where my camera lenses go, right in that.
Okay.
I haven't cut it out yet, but that's where the camera lenses are going to go.
Okay.
And then in the legs of the tripod are going to be batteries and other,
Sure.
cables, whatever.
Strewn about in there, yeah. That looks like my telescope bag.
And my intention is, or was, to go through security with this case. Not check it, but go through security with the case, and then check it at boarding.
Right. When you ask for volunteers to check your bag, because
Yes.
the overhead compartments are
Yeah, this thing wouldn't fit under the seat or in an overhead.
Oh.
But if you check it at the gate, you get it at the gate when you land.
Yeah, depending
Sometimes.
on the airline.
Yeah.
Usually.
If you're the last one to check at the gate, you get it first.
That's a science right there, an art of how to
Well,
do
those are
that.
helpful tips, Spencer.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that, man.
Okay. Let me go back to my, where is it? That one, I think. Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, what other tips do people have for Tom and Kathy and Tom? Anything? I mean, Tom and Kathy are pretty set. I think you all are set.
So I'm curious, you're going to do an update to the gold standard for the Spain Eclipse. When will we get that?
That's a great question. You'll want that soon. Well, let me ask you this. So one of the things that we had discussed for the 2024 and for the 2024 eclipse is that
Spencer, can you mute while you're doing that?
Oh, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
no worries. I was about to ask as well. Perfect.
Okay.
That's great.
Oh,
Thank you. Now I can hear you.
Yeah. So what we were discussing in the for the 2024 eclipse for the gold standard is Raphael Ati, you'll remember he was saying, why do you need so many brackets we have such such, our pixels have a pretty big depth in terms of like bits. So that's why I was asking Feichen about the bits, because it's true. Like if you have a deep enough kind of like if you have a big enough pixel number to work with, then you don't need as many brackets. And so why the reason I was using so many brackets is so that those who didn't have the fancy cameras with the lots of bits per pixel, they could also get us something robust that would give us a big dynamic range. And so what I'm wondering is if we should adjust the brackets also based on your cameras. Like I think I could do a calculation. In principle, I can. Like theoretically, I
That
can.
would be ideal provide the brackets based on the sensor, right,
Exactly.
of your camera.
Exactly.
And there's at least for the larger cameras, people have looked at the dynamic range of the
Right.
sensors, right? The I think DXmark and a couple of the other publishers have run suites of tests, and they say, okay, if you have this Canon camera, it's 12 and a half bits. If you have that Canon camera, it's 13 and a half bits. If you've got this Sony, it's that many bits. Although I'm still not sure whether Sony's algorithm ever got fixed for long exposures. But we're talking minutes of exposures, not
Right. Not seconds.
seconds.
Yeah.
Seconds.
And we're not
But
doing minutes, so
yeah, there have been reported issues that with minutes of exposures, Sony just decides that it's noise. It's not a store.
Yeah, the
And
Sony is notorious. I think the Sony fixed that on A7. Was it Mark IV?
the A7 the Alpha 7 has okay, yeah. But I know that for the longest time the astrophotography community was
Yeah, Sony is a no.
yes. The sensor's wonderful, but the
The sensor
software that's
was
attached to it is
really,
yeah.
there's no way. Yeah.
Laura, what sort of numbers about the sensor would you be looking for, and then what would qualify as fancy?
I mean, that's where I have to go and just sit and quietly do a calculation. I mean, I can do like a theoretical calculation, right? Which is basically
It's based on the number of bit
yeah,
depth,
the
right?
bit depths. So you can look at like we know the dynamic range of the solar corona. I know like we know some of that information from all our heliophysics work. And so I can, in fact, there's a paper that Jeffrey and I used to do the gold standard where there was a really nice kind of description of that dynamic range. And so we use that. And so I can use that and then look at the bit depth, basically your pixel depth. And then we can say like, you know, how much of that, so if it's falling off by a certain amount, right? And you know, you can, and then you can figure out kind of the brightness that your camera can measure given how far away it is and all those things. So you can basically say, I need this many numbers to get this slope of
Right, right.
dynamic
Like
range.
how many digits of pi do I need to hit the moon? Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you want some, you know, cushion on either side. And I mean, this is everything you've already figured out at Act Blue.
Like how many bit,
But
what kind of a bit depth would be good? Like my older camera is like I think 12 or 14 bit. And so is that
12. All the cameras are going to be 10 to 12. Unless older for you is 2 years ago, right?
well, it's a
But
D610, so I think it's either 12 or 14 selectable, but my wife has a friggin' mirrorless Z2 something or other, I don't know. But is 12 or is 12 bits or 10 bits enough of a depth, or does it need to
oh,
be
I mean,
bigger than that?
no, it all can be fine. You just have to take more brackets,
I don't know, I know.
right?
I'm saying for like you would love to have it be, you know, how many
I
like
mean,
this
12's
guy like
probably
this
fine.
cool thing is a billion bits, right, or something.
Yeah,
well,
but
so
then we
Raphael's
have all the
issue, right?
Uh,
Raphael's issue, he's
I
not
can.
here to defend himself, but his issue was you were going like every half stop,
right.
right? And so
And he was saying that's
the sensors already got 10 bits
right.
or 12
So
at the minimum. The cheapest sensor on Earth has 10 bits. And so you could go like every two stops and you'd still be perfectly fine. I think that was Raphael's
right. That
issue.
was exactly.
Yeah.
But then later he did say, now that I've looked through some of the data, I actually see that you did need to do half steps for some cameras. Um,
Ah, okay.
so there is
Some
there's some,
level of noise, which
yeah, like you're
um
gonna,
uh,
yeah, if, because as
yeah,
we know, it gets really hot during the, you
yeah.
know, during the partial phases. And so you're kind of, you're illuminate, you're
You get additional noise which you cannot
a bigger noise
calibrate
floor,
out,
which then
right?
cancels
Yeah,
like half your bits. I mean, then,
yeah.
yeah.
So the question is, given the limited amount of time that we have to take photos, especially in Spain when we have a minute and a half, is it better to take shots every single stop, but to be able to take more of them to stack? Or is it better to go every third of a stop where you can only take a third as many photos at each of those? So your stacks aren't going to be as deep, but you're going to have the exposures. And I'm guessing that's what Laura needs to sit in a quiet corner and think about.
Right.
All right,
So,
and the eclipse is a month away, so I mean,
uh,
we kind of
thank-
need we need the information basically right now.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
gotta go shake out the Mac that I use to run the Eclipse software that drives the cameras and make sure that it still can drive the cameras that I have. So that's one thing. And then I know the scripts. Yeah, it was funny because the scripts worked just fine until it got warm, and then all of a sudden they started erroring out. So it would be useful to know what's overkill, and so that I could not do that, and but still on the other hand produce something that's valuable, maybe.
do you have the D 610? I think you just mentioned that.
I have a
D6.
D610, amongst others, but that's the one I'm
Yeah.
currently wanting to use. But my wife tells me I'm getting the new camera, so.
So this 610, that sensor I have hacked before. That Sony sensor is a 14-bit native ADC. And then the 12-bit in the manual is basically just Nikon ISP trimming off the 2 bits. So the sensor themselves do not have 12-bit mode. So you
So
So they
don't
can
it's a raw is
just throw away
14.
a little bit of precision.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it.
Oh,
you
to
won't
make it
benefit
look less noisy, right?
you won't
Yeah.
benefit anything like in terms of frame rate or readout. The sensor, that sensor only has two modes, 14-bit or 10-bit. The 10-bit mode is used for video, so it's useless. So the 14-bit is a slow readout where the ADC spends more time trying to make sure the electronics are settled before moving up, before counting up each other step. So, and I think also most of these Sony sensors since 2012 or 2014, they are all 14-bit capable. And their dynamic range. One more thing to consider is the dynamic range of a single shot. And I would mostly put it to the base ISO, so the ISO 100 something. So
100,
that
yeah.
the sensor, yeah, then the sensor gives you the highest dynamic range, and the read auto noise is the smallest. So one thing needs to be more worried is the readout noise. Some of those old Canon sensors where Canon gets stuck on their legacy 500 nanometer. So Canon has a built-in lithography. It's 500 nanometer node. So it's a really, really old. It's ancient. And Canon has been using that node to build CMOS sensor all the way till their mirrorless, like the last of their DSLR generation. And then because of that node, they won't be able to put in the ADC, integrate the ADC into the CMOS sensor themselves. So it ends up with a lot of amplifying noise coming from each column or so. So that's why almost everyone switched to Sony sensors later on. And also like a Canon later just give up on the process node and move just like a Nikon a long time ago, everything to Sony. So, and also like the D610, if you really want, I might have a firmware patch somewhere where you can just flash that firmware and I can give you like a raw data right straight from the camera sensor if you want to do that.
If
Yeah.
that would be valuable, I would be interested in it.
That
The
would be very valuable to us. Yes.
It's free.
the trouble with those cameras is that sometimes I use the aftermarket lens, and the firmware breaks the aftermarket lens, so we have to be a little cautious about that.
Mm.
But
That won't be with an icon. I don't think so. So you rest assured, like that won't
yeah, I
happen.
was gonna say if it's a hacked patch, then probably wouldn't break anything.
Yeah, it's not a yeah. Lens should be okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We're going to take at least three cameras, so we'll figure out what we're doing.
Yeah, we can, I would say based on some work we were just doing with your data, um given that it's solar, we're still basically kind of coming off of solar max, the sun's still quite active. I can tell you we can definitely change it. It will be better to not do so many brackets. So I will get that information. I'm gonna sit down. Daniel, our recent physics grad, was working with me on because I was having him look at the data in a different way, not an HDR way, actually. We were taking your images, looking at the different, basically just sticking with one camera and one set of images, and then looking at how things were changing. He was subtracting the images between different exposures. And we were getting some really interesting information because the sun was changing so fast.
Mm.
So actually, that's going to still be true for this August eclipse. And so I think I might have you focus more on getting, kind of fewer brackets around that will capture this inner corona. And then we can really look at how things are changing. Because as you know, NASA has the data right in the photosphere, and then it has the data outside of about 2
That
RE.
is handy to have satellites and stuff.
Yeah, it's handy.
It's better
And
than
that
most of us can do. So
NASA's our friend.
so I will have the luxury in Iceland of 6 minutes of totality. And I
Weather
know it's
permitting.
insane. And so if I need to do something, at least I'll have time to do it. So if there's a set of shots that I can program into the computer to make it do it, and let it go, and it screws up again, then at least I would have a chance to restart it and still get something valuable.
Yeah. Yep.
And all of that brings about the question of the software driving the cameras.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure that most of us, maybe most of us, were using Xavier's software.
The
And
non-upgradable ancient software that still knows when all the eclipses are.
yep, and still runs on a 20-year-old Mac.
Yep, that's what
A
I have.
hackable Mac.
That's why I gotta wipe it off and make sure I can still use it.
Is there anything on the forefront of anybody writing software that's going to do these same things? I mean,
Well, Tom and Kathy wrote some software, but that was for Canon only, I think.
and I was working with this Dutch guy, uh, De Meister, I guess is his name, Wilhelm De Meister,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a very complicated set of command prompts, and it works, but if you don't do it right, you're gonna screw up.
Yeah, I was seriously considering telling Claude to build me a camera driver um, for the specific camera that I want to use and see what he could put together if I have enough room in my token count.
Yeah, I've been trying to push Claude with these kind of things, and it really requires a lot of tokens. So, but you should try. Um, I think, yeah, I don't know if what's the one we had you do? For some reason I
You
blanked.
had us do Nina,
Nina,
and
right,
and
right,
and
right.
and
And
I think like half of us abandoned
yeah,
That
because
after
Nina was
trying it out.
grabbing images and bringing them down instead
Yeah,
of
it
like
was slow.
leaving
It
it.
was slow.
Yeah, yeah,
I
Nina
did
was a
I did
problem.
and it runs on Windows, which was annoying, but I did test it, and yeah, it was horrible. So I went back to 50-year-old software, but still works.
Yeah.
I have
But the trouble is, I'm not sure it'll drive the newer camera that my wife now wants to use. So
I have a script I made before. I might be able to share it with you. Let me see. I think it's on my GitHub. It's a really like there's a cross-platform software called I forgot. It's called G Streamer or is it some sort of a camera? Just give me a second.
yeah,
I
of course, fundamentally, if we know what shots we want to take, the benefit of the software is that it knows when to take them. But once you're inside totality, the when matters a little bit less, right? Because what you're working so hard to catch are all the prominences and all the little, dancing things on the ground and all that kind of stuff. But once you're inside totality, if there's like a set of pictures you want to take just to do the science with, that should be relatively straightforward.
It's true.
Got to know the start. Got to know the end. Got to know the middle.
Yep.
But you could automatically start it,
Yeah,
right?
you can just wait
And
for it
then you
to
could
go to
automatically end
totality
it.
and then go
Yeah.
now.
So
If you
you
have
actually could build, like, it doesn't have to. I agree with you. If you're just pointing and you don't care about partials and you're just doing totality, you could create a script.
Oh, I deeply care about it, but I also am practical. So, if
Right.
I'm trying to do everything on Earth and my system shuts down in the middle of it, I'm probably just going to stand there in awe of the sun's darkness instead of fixing it. So,
Okay, I just drop a link in there.
love.
It's a software called Gphoto. It's a command line tool and it's a cross-platform. I think it's available in Windows, Linux, Mac, You just need to somehow figure out a way to install that. And then the script I had is it's a USB tether. And then what it does is just send the command to trigger instead of
Yeah, exactly that. Yep.
you would capture it into the SD card. And it's fairly easy. You can send my script into like a Cloud AI or something, just change the time zone. It should be okay. It won't waste too much token on that one. It's a fairly simple fix. And I've been using that for before I had my own stuff.
Yeah, that magic thing.
I use
I
that.
know, now you have the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my children are starting to bug me for their dinner. So.
Yes, I think we have gone way over, which is lovely. It means we're all passionate, but I know we have families and other things to do. So thank you all very much for re-engaging and getting ready for the next eclipse, and we will be in touch in another month. So
Did we
Cool.
record?
we
Yeah, we
record.
recorded.
Okay,
So
it's time to turn the recorder off.
why are you going to